Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I want to talk about episode 3 of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, and break down the new teaser images that we did get for episode 3. There's actually quite a bit here, and some stuff is actually pretty telling in terms of where the story is overall going to go, and I think we can see where episode 3 is going to end, but yeah, I have a lot of questions here. So I'm going to break all this down, so definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. But let's talk about episode 3 here. So I didn't put these images in like any sort of order. I usually go through the effort and I'll sort of organize everything in terms of how I think the episode is going to go overall, but I'll do that as I'm talking here. I do have all the images here, and I think, yeah, we'll just go through it image by image here, and I'll explain it as we're going through it here. So we have this shot here of Rick Grimes, and this is obviously during the day. This takes place way after he talks with Jadis originally, obviously in his apartment, and that's probably how episode 3 is going to begin. It's going to be with him and Jadis talking, and we'll see what happens there. Rick's probably going to say whatever. In terms of what the CRM plans to do with Michonne, that's going to be interesting. I mean, does Beale find out about Michonne at some point? I feel like he has to, right? Like, he's going to at some point, but I don't know if he's going to learn about Michonne in episode 3. I think Jadis for sure, though, she probably has a plan for Michonne, because Rick does mention in the trailer that, there's a woman that saved me and I don't want them sending her away. So I think he was talking to Pearl Thorne, and obviously he's talking about Michonne, right? And he's just kind of saying, like, there's a woman that saved me, that was Michonne, and I don't want the CRM to send her away. And I think that's probably what Jadis is planning to do, is send her away somewhere. And so I don't know if that means killing Michonne or what. They're obviously trying to do something here, and Rick is very concerned. And so I don't know if we're going to learn in the very opening minutes, but this shot right here of Rick, he's actually talking with Jadis here. And if you're looking at the background, it looks like it's actually a part of those buildings there where we do see, it's like broken up buildings or whatever. And, Rick was killing walkers. And so I think they're probably watching Michonne here in this scene, and Michonne's killing walkers and all of that. And so I am curious on like some of that too. Like, Michonne doesn't know that Jadis is here. Michonne doesn't know how Rick got to the CRM, right? A lot of things like that. And so I think in this episode, we could learn some details here, especially if Michonne sees Jadis, right? If she's like killing walkers in this scene and she looks over and she sees Rick and Jadis talking, then I think she's going to be like, okay, I know how you got here now, right? And then maybe that's where in episode 4 they discuss a bunch of stuff and they talk about sort of what was happening, and Rick talks about the bridge and what happened afterwards, and then that's where Michonne probably learns about what Jadis did, and then it's like that explains why she left and why she was gone, kind of thing, right? Like, I feel like that's where we're going to get into a bunch of stuff like that. But yeah, then we get to the next shot here, and we have Michonne, and it looks like at this point she has her CRM jacket on. She's probably not killing walkers, and I think she's probably just looking around the CRM and it's just kind of suspicious about what's going on, if she's being followed or whatnot. She's obviously just kind of looking at everything and trying to figure out what's going on, right? And yeah, then we have this shot here of Rick, and this one here seems to be connected to a previous shot where Rick is actually meeting with Michonne, and so I'm thinking that it's probably him talking to Michonne about something, or I don't know. Again, like, I want to know more of the specifics about what they're planning to do with Michonne, but it does seem like they're trying to send her away, and this might be the reason for them trying to escape, right? Like, Jadis is going to send Michonne away. I know Rick doesn't want to risk at all leaving and then something happening to Alexandria and everywhere else, right? But he can't really risk that right now. Like, if they're going to send her away, like, Michonne could die, right? So I think Rick is just like, if we're forced to leave right now, we're going to have to leave. And that might be what we're seeing, right? But let's go to the next shot here. And yeah, we have Michonne killing walkers here. It's kind of cool to see her in this situation now, because Rick was literally just here killing walkers, right? So kind of cool. I mean, obviously, that's the thing about A's. Like, I feel like what's going to happen here is we're going to see more of the process between the A's and the B's. Like, I think everyone is sent here to kill walkers, and then we're going to see how they handle it. If you're an A, they're going to send you away, and I think we're going to learn where they send people, right? Because Rick, obviously, he was given so many chances to just complete his 6 years there so that he can actually become a CRM soldier. But that was Okafor keeping Pearl Thorne and Rick Grimes alive, right? Okafor is not there anymore. So who's going to try and keep Michonne alive? Like, that's what I mean. Like, no one's going to try and keep her alive, right? So they're going to find out right away Michonne's a leader. We can't have her here because obviously that'll cause issues and stuff like that. So, Michonne's in a very dangerous situation here. And then we have this shot here of Rick Grimes talking to, I believe, Pearl Thorne. And so at this point here, this is obviously where Rick says, like, there's a woman that saved me, and I need them to not send her away, kind of thing. And so Pearl Thorne at this point obviously has a lot more power. And I wonder if Pearl is sort of considering it. And I think she's obviously going to find out in this episode that the woman that saved Rick was is obviously Michonne, right? So I do wonder, if that's going to cause a bunch of issues. I mean, obviously it's going to, because we know that Pearl Thorne is like looking around and trying to see who this Dana is, right? And obviously at some point she'll learn it's Michonne. We have another shot here of Rick Grimes, and he has like the red light, which is kind of cool, but this is very similar to the shot of Michonne, walking through these tunnels here. And it seems like she eventually gets to the place where, she does actually talk with Pearl Thorne. And because Rick is here, I'm actually very curious about what's going to happen here, because if it's a thing where Pearl and Rick are, in this area and, it's literally Rick is just saying, just let us go kind of thing, then I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I don't know what their plan is going to be. I don't know where this goes. And this is the exciting thing about all this, is I have no idea where this is going. I don't know where this story is going to go next, because like if it's Pearl Thorne just allowing them to leave, then what does that mean for Pearl Thorne? I feel like that's not going to be the case. And I think Rick and Michonne are probably going to escape. And then what happens with Pearl Thorne? Like, does she get sort of knocked out in the scene? Does like Rick or Michonne knock her out or something to be able to get away? Because I don't think she's going to let them leave. I don't think she's going to allow that. We're all speculating that, we're going to see where she goes overall as a character, but I think it's too early and just too soon for the character to change immediately and be like, yeah, I'll let you guys go kind of thing. I think that if Rick tries to go anywhere, Pearl Thorne is going to be like, no, I'm not allowing this. And so something's going to happen here, I feel like, and I think Pearl Thorne will survive. And then I think she'll alert Jadis as to what happened. And then we'll see where that goes, right? Obviously, Jadis is going to try and hunt them down. But that's where I'm really interested in a lot of this. Like, Jadis said she was going to do something, right? She was going to basically completely destroy Alexandria and I'm guessing all the other communities as well. So, like, if they escape, does she do that right away? Or does she first want to capture them and then do something like that? I'm really curious on where that goes. And yeah, because we do have a scene here of Rick. And again, this is kind of... it's at nighttime, very similar lighting, so I think he's also in the scene here with Michonne and Pearl Thorne, so he's probably just trying to get her to be like, all right, just let me go, please just let me go, like, we're already right here, you can just look the other way, you can say this or whatever. And I mean, man, Pearl Thorne's gonna really have, she has all the say at this point. She can just say, well, no, I'm not gonna let that happen or whatever. And I think it's gonna really, like, again, I think this is gonna be towards the end of the episode and it's gonna be pretty intense here. We have another shot here of Rick, and I think this is gonna be earlier on in the episode after a lot of the Rick and Jada stuff. I think we'll see him here talking with Michonne, and I think he's just he's probably gonna tell her some stuff about what she has to do here, because it looks like Michonne is gonna be, going to kill some walkers and all that. So maybe Rick has to sort of direct her and tell her where she has to go and all of that. So maybe that's what's happening in the scene. Then we get the other shot here, in which I was saying before, Rick was talking with Jadis. So yeah, we have Jadis here, obviously. Totally different scene from what we're probably going to get in the opening scene of Rick and Jadis talking. So she is in the episode more than just that scene, though I don't think she'll be in it after this. I think there'll just be this. Maybe there's an ending thing where Jadis finds out that Rick and Michonne escaped. I mean, I could see that, I guess. Another shot here of Jadis, and yeah, this is from the opening scene. Not a lot to talk about here. Another one here of Michonne, where it looks like she's actually a part of the CRM community. I'm not entirely sure what is happening in this scene, who she's talking to, but I'm very interested in this because we're going to see what it's like for Michonne to, learn about what this place is like. Because from Michonne's perspective, I guess she was a part of Alexandria, but that place, like, they were really, they were doing really good for a while. After Rick left, they weren't doing the best after some time, because the hilltop sort of, it cut itself off from Alexandria, and Alexandria kind of did the same thing. Like, no one was working together anymore, right? So they weren't doing the best, and then she just left. Like, she wasn't exposed to all the Commonwealth to see, just the technology that they had from the old world. And so Michonne's going to be seeing this here, and I think she'll just be like, what is going on, right? It's kind of funny. She's like the last character to see all of this, right? Like, everyone else has already experienced all of this stuff. She's going to be the last character to be like, what? Like, what is this, right? Another shot here of Rick, and I think this is before he gets to Pearl Thorne and Michonne. I'm assuming that he's going to be getting there last. I feel like Michonne's going to be out there looking around and trying to see, what the CRM is all about and this and that. Maybe they have a plan or something, I don't know. But I think that Michonne's going to be going to this place first, and then Rick will follow afterwards, and then that's where Pearl Thorne will be. I think Rick's probably going to, like, walk in and see Pearl Thorne and Michonne, talking about whatever. So I think that's probably going to be what's happening here. And then we get the final shot here of Rick Grimes with some CRM soldiers in the back, and this is very significant because, again, this is episode 3. I'm pretty sure they're having like a funeral scene here, and I'm assuming it's going to be for Okafor. So I think that, yeah, we're going to see Major General Beale in episode 3. But again, it's going to be a very short scene. It just seems like it's going to be a scene where, he's giving a speech about Okafor and who he was, this and that. You know, he was suspicious of Okafor and what he was trying to do. So his death, does that, you know, put things to rest, or is he going to be questioning Rick Grimes now? You know, where do they go with that storyline? Like, there's all this stuff with Rick and Michonne trying to escape. There's some stuff with Jadis, but there's the whole Major General Beale storyline that's like not really being explored right now, and it kind of seems like they're going in a different direction by the end of episode 3. So we'll have to wait and see where that's gonna go here. But I'm so excited for episode 3. I really can't wait to watch this one. Again, I was excited for episode 2, I really was, but I wasn't as excited, I guess, because I knew that it was, I mean, I was excited for Michonne's story. I wanted to see what was going to happen there, but I figured that I already knew the ending. Obviously, in the end, that wasn't the case. The ending, we saw the reunion, we saw a way bigger scene of them talking, and then we went back to the CRM. So, like, the episode was so much better than I originally thought it was going to be, but the excitement I had before watching the episode wasn't the same as what I feel right now. Like, I'm so hyped for episode 3, and I really can't wait. And it's kind of crazy. Like, once we watch episode 3, then we're going on to episode 4, and then we're already like halfway through the series, right? And I just, it doesn't seem like it's at the end. It really doesn't seem like we're at the end of this entire show. And because the ratings are so high for the ones who live, I think there is going to be more. Like, yeah, but obviously we've talked about that a lot. So I'll leave it here. Post your predictions and whatnot for episode 3. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.